Rudolf Carnap once wrote that in January 1941, the whole theory of language structure came to me like a vision. What followed was a feverish night, 44 pages reading in shorthand, and the first attempt at what he called a metalogic. This course begins from that moment. It tells a story of how Carnap sought to shift philosophy away from metaphysics and into the machinery of language. From the start, the analytic movement placed its bets on the decomposability of meaning, the idea that meaningfulness could be broken down, traced back, and ultimately rebuilt from components that are logically finite and operationally identifiable. The easiest way to grasp this is not through abstraction, but through engineering. Think of every analytic statement as a kind of machine, a structured device for generating valid outputs in response to structured inputs. Each machine activates only under specific constraints. Each framework selects which hypotheses can be activated and which fall inert. A successful analytic philosophy does not reveal truth like a mirror. It functions more like a well-trained tool.
In logic, there are no morals. This statement, at once liberating and austere, may appear to sanction relativism. Yet, if we resist this caricature and bring it into contact with Carnap's later work, particularly empiricism, semantics, and ontology, 1950, we uncover a more rigorous substructure. In ESO, Carnap defends the internal coherence of adopting various linguistic frameworks, including frameworks that quantify over abstract entities, numbers, properties, even possible individuals.
To say that a system is categorical is to say that all its admissible models are isomorphic. Think of this as a negative condition. If no distinction exists between the admissible models, then alignment is sufficient to sustain the internal mechanics of meaning. Even under conditions of incompleteness, that is, within languages where the law of secluded middle does not hold. Categoricity ensures that the inferential architecture does not collapse into ambiguity. In such frameworks, truth is not exhausted by ambivalence. There can be well-formed statements that are neither provable nor refutable, and yet the structure of the theory still functions, precisely because the models remain isomorphic. They simulate the same constraints, even when the space of expressibility expands beyond classical decidability. Here we are, staring at two sentences. Scott is the author of Waverley, and the author of Waverley is the author of Waverley. They have, by all extensional accounts, which is to say, by the solemn bookkeeping of sameness and number, the same truth conditions. Yet, only a lunatic would pretend that they carry the same information. The first may come as a revelation, the second as a tautology. The thought was that structural correspondence could do more than just catalog sameness. It might actually formalize the difference between what strikes us as a tautology and what comes across as a revelation. And so he gave us the promise that even a machine, yes, even a machine, might be trained to tell the trivial from the not trivial. Philosophers, of course, have a habit of mistaking their notations for insights. Carnap's optimism was admirable, but the paradox of analysis has an irritating way of surviving every new syntax. You can rename Scott, re-index the author of Waverley, quantify over predicates until your chalk breaks. And yet, the difference between tautology and discovery continues to haunt us.
His illustration is memorable. If, like the thief in the Arabian Nights, we chalk a mark upon a house to enable us to know it again, the mark has a purpose, but it has no meaning. Morgiana, by making a similar mark on all the other houses, defeated the purpose, but she did not thereby alter the meaning, for the mark had none. Carnap knew better. Some statements carry projective content. They point beyond today's facts. Now, Carnap's genius was not to mystify this projective leap, nor to ascribe it to some occult faculty of intuition. His proposal was starkly logical. Embed these projective uses within a confirmation calculus. In his scheme, the meaning of a statement is not exhausted by its current truth value, nor by a list of past cases. It is given, in part, by how the statement reshapes the probability distribution of future observations. In other words, Carnap gives us a criterion. Induction is not witchcraft, but bookkeeping in the grand casino of nature. Each hypothesis alters the odds. Each predicate carries its projectability as a logical parameter, not as a mystical whisper from the void.
To understand his dream is to understand why our deepest debates about logic, belief, and artificial intelligence are still haunted by the vision of January 1941.